And a very good evening, everybody. Welcome in to another edition of This Week in Phillies Baseball. I'm your host, James Scores, and with you, and joining me today, with me as always, is my group of companions on a very important Monday. Austin Amel and also Connor Acuna joining us once again, like they always do on this program. Gentlemen, good to see you. How are you?
Doing good.
I'm good. I'm good. I just got back from the Dominican Republic yesterday. I
Nice.
don't know. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I got a nice Dominican glow going. So it's a good way to start the week. Let's talk some Phillies baseball.
Yeah, you
Oh,
said it
yeah.
best, brother. So the Phillies, man, where do we start with this series, right? I mean, it's been a crazy, crazy few days. Mitch Kovsky joins us like he always does. Also, if you are a new member or just a recent member or anything about that included, like hit that like and subscribe button at the bottom of your screen at Hardcore Sports Network and our sister station, Stream Punk Entertainment. So let's get into it, shall we? I know the Phillies play a game here tonight against the Mariners. It's going to be 3 against the big dumper, and that's going to be a cause for concern more than anything like that. But overall, the first question I want to ask you guys, it's going to probably be a little bit shorter than sweeter here. So overall, I mean, like, what was your first expectations with this? I mean, you would have thought after that series against the Texas Rangers, right? They could have easily probably come into Cincinnati and looked like they were going to step on the positive direction and look on the outside looking in, but then it looked like to me like they just really didn't get it going. Like against the Reds, they didn't look like they didn't get it going against the Nationals either. So, Austin, I'll ask you this question. The first thing I'll ask is, like, what do you think went wrong with this Phillies team over the weekend? Like, you think it was the bats or you think it was the pitching? But what do you think went wrong this weekend with this Phillies club?
It was definitely a combination of both, but it was more the bats going cold and the pitching going bad because the pitching was pretty solid for the most part. You didn't really see a ton of like large scoring games. I mean, we did give up what I think it was 8 in a couple, and then I think 9 in one of the Nationals games. But for the most part, it was just for a fistful of those games. It was just the offense failing to get going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the bats weren't really there for, especially the Cincinnati series. It was really rough baseball to have to watch. And then against Washington, you know, there was the fight started to come back a little bit. We had a couple of really close games that we managed to pull out. One of them was a come from behind victory. So, you know, I genuinely think it's, you know, the bats are starting to cool off just a little bit. They're starting to pick back up. And, you know, we only have about 4 or 5 weeks of baseball left at this point. So you kind of hope they can right that ship going into the end of the season here, because it's after this it's predominantly divisional or potential playoff opponents.
Yeah, absolutely. Connor, what do you think went wrong this week with the Phillies? Do you think it's just like a long road trip that finally comes to an end tonight, or you think it's easy said than done? Like even my dad brought up a very good point here that the bats went silent all over the week, so it's something to keep a close eye on coming into this game tonight against Seattle. But overall, what do you think went wrong with this Phillies team over the week?
Yeah. Well, I think first I just want to give a shout out to Mr. Scorza. Thank you for the comment. And
Appreciate it.
And second, I just think maybe it was just a long road trip. Maybe the guys are tired. I mean, 10 games, 3 cities. That might not seem like a lot to the average person, but that takes a toll on the human body, physically, mentally, emotionally. So the guys were probably very emotionally drained. And now today they're probably juiced up to get back home and see what they can do against a good Seattle team. I mean, they swept a Texas Rangers team to open this road trip that's ironically from the Seattle Mariners same division. I guess that's not ironic, but there you go. So this team can beat some quality competition from the AL West.
Yeah, that's true. And you think about the last time the Phillies actually had some poise in the last couple of weeks was against the Texas Rangers before that, and that was around a week ago. So, yeah, for me, I think the only thing that really sticks out to me the most is that even though when they really thought, I mean, I thought that Red Series could have been a lot better going into the week. I really thought it was probably going to be a trap. Probably going to be something to keep a close eye on, especially with Dela Cruz and even like Austin Hayes, who's been ripping the cover off the ball, like we mentioned many times before on this program. For me, it was just that, like I said before, I don't think they really got it going. I don't think they really got anything going. I think it's just that sad part about it is that the Phillies are going through a slump now because now they just lost Zach Wheeler now due to that damn blood clot that we just found out on Saturday. So it's going to be something that it's gonna have its fair share of obstacles when that time calls for before when the season comes to an end and postseason play kicks in. It'll be something to keep a close eye on. So speaking of Zach Wheeler here, I want to get your guys' point of view on this. So he's now obviously going to be out now with this blood clot now due to a tragedy that could have gone from bad to worse for Zach Wheeler this year. But overall, so where do you think they go from here? Do you think they like continue to? I mean, obviously he's not going to be coming back. Hopefully for the playoffs. Hopefully we wish he'll come back for the playoffs. But I think it's probably probably a million to one shot. But more important than anything like that, so Austin, I'll ask you this question. Since Zach Wheeler's injury is now officially unknown now, where do you think the Phillies go from here? Like, what do you think they start? Do you think they bring up Andrew Painter now, or do you think they'll wait to see what the starting rotation does over the week due to Wheeler's absence due to this horrific turn of events?
Yeah, I think you're going to see more of Taijuan Walker in starts again. Unfortunately, I mean he did pretty well his last couple of outings that he had, so I feel like it gives the coaching staff more confidence to want to run him. Shifting everyone up a start, slotting a Taijuan Walker in at the bottom probably, but losing Wheeler is definitely pretty significant.
Mm-hmm.
One of the top 10 in ERA, strikeouts, innings pitched. He's been the anchor for this starting rotation for as long as we've had him, and losing him now is not great. But you sort of have to hope that you can rely on the rest of the guys in that rotation with him not there to be able to carry that weight. And Suarez had a bit of a shaky start. Sanchez looked pretty good in his. Nola, it'll take him some time to get into form again. Luzardo's very up and down, so you really hope whatever the issues that some of these guys have had over their past start or two is going to be left behind them when they come back to the friendly confines tonight facing Seattle.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Connor, same question to you. What do you think? What do you think the Phillies need to do here to try to nurse this injury? You think? I mean, the same question I'll ask you is the same thing I asked Austin here. So, what's your what's your immediate reaction about this?
Ironically, I had this discussion with my brother and dad over text earlier today. I still think they're going to make the playoffs. They have enough depth, starting pitching wise. Their offense can be one of the best in baseball, and when they're on the defensive side, they look like one of the best defensive teams in baseball. Also, Austin, I have to disagree with you about the Taijuan Walker stray you just threw. Like he's pitched to a 3.35 ERA. He's been really good. So maybe you're still a little emotionally scarred from last year, which I don't blame you. But
yeah,
this guy's been one of the best pitchers in baseball. If Major League Baseball had a comeback player of the year, for me, my vote would be Taijuan Walker. What that guy has done is nothing short of incredible.
Yeah, Walker has had a very good year this year. He's been filling in when needed, and he's been doing very well doing so. I definitely do still have a lot of scarring from the starts that we had to sit through with him last year, but I will give him credit where it's due. He's been putting together a very solid season. His numbers have been very good this year.
Yeah. And to piggyback what you guys said about the thing with Taijuan Walker, I mean, good admit he's not been the same pitcher as of lately. I mean, that Nationals game on Saturday was actually one of his best performances of the season, to say the least. Trying to say that without trying to laugh is pretty. I mean, you guys make a very good I think the other thing that I stick out the most with Taiwan Walker too is that maybe this will be the opportunity to see what he does now with Weaver being out. Like, this is going to be something to keep a very close eye on, especially because you think about it now. I mean, somebody brought it up earlier. I think it's on Unfiltered on 97.5 The Fanatic here in Philly. Talked about the starting rotation, that Luzardo was shaky and Noah looked shaky yesterday. And even Sanchez, Sanchez is going to be the guy going into game one for the NLDS. He's your game one starter. So we can put that one down more than anything. But then after that, you got Taiwan Walker, you got Aaron Noah coming back off the IL, excuse me, and then you got you got Taiwan Walker, and you got Suarez, excuse me. So it's going to be something to keep a close eye on, especially in the next few months or so. Who is going to be that game 2 and game 3 starters when the postseason comes around? So this is like something that we didn't expect happening. I mean, obviously we thought that Johan Duran, the injury would have thought that was a little bit of a sigh of relief, and then we hear the news about Zach Wheeler. It's like, man, it's just like sometimes you can't get what you want, I guess, and sometimes it just. I mean, sometimes like it's what it is, and that's how baseball is. You just have to roll with the punches, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah. On to piggyback off your Aaron Nola point, I heard Hunter Brody of Broad Media say this on a TikTok clip. He was just saying, like, the people that say Aaron Nola sucks are absolutely he didn't use this word, but idiotic or stupid. I just think for Nola, it's just one of those years where it's just not his season.
Mm-hmm.
And for a wildly consistent pitcher, for him to have a 6+ ERA, that's an anomaly. And some brain dead Phillies fans need to realize that good pitchers have bad seasons. It doesn't make them a bad pitcher. It makes them a bad pitcher this year, but one bad season does not doom a career. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing too with Noah, I mean, it's not like we don't want him. We want him to succeed. You know, like you said, Connor. I mean, yeah, there's gonna be seasons that you're gonna have your worst stuff. I mean, it's kind of like I want to feel like I want Noah to have like a Brent Myers kind of comeback story, like in 2008 when he started to struggle when he went back down to the minors to recoup and also try to get his like stuff back to where it was, and he was a dominant pitcher in that World Series, and also how he got the team to the World Series. But for me, I mean, me and Joey brought up this, my colleague over at Patterson Ave Sports Show, is that maybe we should probably think about moving him to the bullpen when it's all said and done. But then now with Zach Wheeler going down, I mean, it's going to be something to keep a close eye on more than anything. But the question I'm going to ask you there, since we're talking about our player spotlight here, Aaron Nola yesterday, finally coming back off that 60-day IL. What were your takeaways on his performance yesterday? Connor, I'll start with you.
Yep. Okay. So he cruised through the first 2 innings, like 2 innings plus, I'll call it, and then he started to struggle, which is breaking news to a lot. Well, breaking news to a lot of these Phillies fans who say he does suck. Like that's what happens to a guy who hasn't pitched who hasn't faced major league pitching in at least 2 months. Like, so pump the brakes on saying Aaron Nola is like done. His contract's the worst in baseball. Like, stop it. You really don't know baseball. You sit there in your parents' basement wearing a wife beater tank top, and you play armchair GM when you've never even gone outside and played the game. So I just don't think people should judge Aaron Nola off of one bad start in his first start back in at least 2 months. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, man. It's kind of like it's like that old saying is that Actually, it's kind of like analytics is like something to brag about with that too, especially. But that's another story for another time. So, Austin, what was your takeaways for Aaron Noah's performance on last yesterday, rather? Gunnar?
Clearly a pitcher that missed some time and is trying to get himself back into a comfortable position. I mean, it's kind of expected. Like no, like everyone, I can absolutely assure you, at least a majority of people that don't really like Connor was saying, like guys that don't really like understand the game too much, we're probably expecting a guy like a Lance McCullers to come back after not pitching for 2 whole years
Right.
and be able to be just fine. But like especially getting back into pitching, it's a bit of a longer workup, even though you have these rehab starts, you have, your standard practices and your conditioning and stuff. It's a long run up to be able to get back up to throwing 97, 98 miles per hour and then coming back with another pitch in the same arm slot that goes 75. Like it takes a lot to get there. And sometimes you need to be in front of the competition that you're used to facing to get yourself back into the mindset. Because some it's not physical sometimes. It could be the mental state isn't there just yet. Like he's up on the mound, but he's not on the mound. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Which that
He's
kind
not
of thing
owning the mound is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not one of those things that's going to happen overnight. It'll probably take another start or two for him to start to really feel himself once he starts to get deeper into these outings. And I think Aaron Nola will be just fine. I mean, granted, we're getting into that point in the season. Sometimes in September he doesn't really have his best starts, but then again, he didn't really have much of a decent season to start off with. So I feel like this could be, he gets himself back in the next start or two and starts to really produce some quality starts, some really good outings. And I think we'll be all right. It's a blip in the radar for Aaron Nola right now. Again, probably trying to get some of that rust off in terms of the mental math, in terms of the mental math of everything with being a pitcher. So it happens, it is what it is. I think Nola will be just fine.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's like probably the first time I'll say it like with a start like that. I mean, if you're like, the thing I looked at it too was that like even Noah, who had a little bit of a struggle in this game, I mean that's been the first. It's probably the first time since he pitched like in a long time. So I'm guessing like you're gonna have your like sloppiness a little bit since coming off that IL. That's like 60 days. I mean you're off. No, that's the thing too. It's like a majority of the season that he lost. I mean, yeah, I mean, you're gonna have your slumps here and there. You're gonna have your fair share of obstacles along the way too. So more importantly than anything like that, I mean, I thought Nola like looked okay. I thought he could have done better, but that's the thing about this business. It's like it's not like, I mean, if it was a postseason game, then we'll have to worry. It's like, okay, now you just lost game 3. Now what are you gonna do for a majority of the rest of the series? But we got probably 2 more months of this, and I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be okay too. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, one more quick point on Aaron Nola before we move on. There's a reason that before he left, Cole Hamels gave Aaron Nola like the stamp of approval. Like I think he stood up in his press conference like after he got traded and said Aaron Nola is going to be the guy. And for a World Series champion to say that about at the time a 22, 23-year-old kid is huge. And I think that's kind of what you've seen in Aaron Nola is just that confidence that a veteran of the game kind of gave him. And this year it just hasn't been his year. And you know what? That's okay. That happens. These guys are human. People just expect that like they're robots. They just do everything perfectly. They're not. Like they're human. So we gotta kind of pump the brakes. I'm not saying handle them with kid gloves, but just handle them with a rational brain and a set of open eyes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to put it into perspective, Suarez's first start back from being injured was not great either. He went about 2 1/3, 2 2/3, got hit up a little bit, and then he settled in. And he had a stretch of really, really good starts. So, I mean, like I understand, Nola's supposed to be the guy, like one of the guys with your pitching staff.
Yeah, sure.
It's okay to have a bad start. Like let this guy live his life. Like he does this every single day for his entire life until now.
Yeah,
One
that's
bad start, like Connor said, one bad start isn't going to kill this guy.
right. And that's the thing too. I mean, you think about this Phillies team. I mean, yeah, it's first game he's played in almost like 3 months, like let alone 3 or 4 months. So you're gonna have your fair share of slop. I mean, like it's just that's the thing about baseball. It's like, yeah, I mean, even Connor brought it up, but there's like 162 or more of these. I mean, not now, but like when the season started, it's 162 of them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
not every game is going to be the best of baseball. But yeah, sure. I mean, you have your obstacles along the way too, like I brought up. But yeah, I mean, even like you bring up a very good point with Ranger Suarez actually about how his start was. I mean, it was a shaky start too. I mean, but then I mean, hopefully it doesn't turn into a tailspin like Ranger Suarez too. So I mean, hopefully when he gets his stuff back and also gets back into a groove, that's going to be something to keep a close eye on, especially in his next couple starts here to see what he looks like for the next couple weeks, especially let alone with the Wheeler's injury being actually like that's going to be the one thing that who's going to be that's going to be the one that's going to be that game 2 starter or game 3 starter. So it's uncomfortable to talk about now about a blood clot that Zach Wheeler has to deal with. But I mean, if Noah can get back to the groove that he was like and try to resurrect his career a little bit, I think it'll be something to keep a close eye on too, more than anything.
Yeah, and plus, honestly, I'm glad that what Wheeler had to go into surgery for wasn't worse.
Right.
It could have been like that could have been a Tommy John surgery.
Oh
And
yeah.
we could have not had him at all next year too.
True. That's true. And
But
good.
I think it was great awareness by Zach to like be like, hey, I'm not feeling right. I mean, I'm still gonna see what I can do, but just know like something's not right. And then you could like I could tell that first start after he said that when the start got pushed back.
Right.
That day that he came out, his average fastball was about 2 to 2.5 miles per hour slower.
Mm-hmm.
And it stayed around that for the last start that he had too. And I was like, yeah, there's something wrong. Like mechanically, he's still there. It's just he's not able to put as much behind it. And then revealing that the clot is there and everything.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Connor, you got anything to add before we can move on?
Yeah, I want to say, I could be wrong, but I want to say his average fastball velocity, as opposed to it being 98, 99, it was maybe 96, 97, or maybe 95, 96. So yeah, that was cause for concern. So good call by Zach by saying like, hey, something's not right. I gotta go get this thing checked out. And thank God it wasn't worse. Thank God
Yeah,
it was just a blood clot. I know those are
yeah,
brutal, but thank God it was just a blood clot.
yeah. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. I mean, you think about it too, with the day and age of blood clots. I mean, I think it was a flyer player that had like a blood clot. Was it Chemo Timonen had it back in 2015? Like, I think there was. I know somebody had there was a sports player in the Philly sports team had a blood clot. I think it was Timonen, if I'm not
That
I
mistaken.
think
it
so.
also ended Chris Bosch's career.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also, I think Dame Lillard had a blood clot this year too. Yeah, either like I forget. Yeah, it was just it's not. I mean that thing is like very very uncomfortable to talk about, especially if you hear the words blood clot. You got to be really worried about that more than anything.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so but let's move on here. So as you may know, there was a little bit of a disturbance before Zach Wheeler's injury happened and occurred on Saturday night. It was on Friday night, actually, when Johan Duran took a pitch like right to the knee, and everybody was holding their collective breaths, like how we were about Landon Dickerson during the week with the Eagles. Um, so this is gonna be actually just an easy question for you. I mean, it's a sigh of relief that we actually can still see Johan Duran like just still be effective, even though he had that pitch that could have easily gone from bad to worse, like Zach Wheeler for an example. But overall, how effective is he going to be when the postseason comes around? Connor, I'll start with you first.
I I think he's going to be very effective because Rob Thompson has done a great job not like riding him until the wheels fall off like Gene Mach did to the Phillies great all of the three Phillies great starters back in like 1964 when they had that epic collapse. Like,
Hmm.
so Rob Thompson understands, like, I got a horse at the back end of my bullpen. I got to make sure he has as many bullets ready to go come September and October, because then it's put up or shut up time, and uh, we're gonna need that guy. So let me make sure he saves as many bullets as he can. Um, and that's just a good move by Rob Thompson, and all the people, all the brain dead people who say Aaron Nola sucks want Rob Thompson fired will hate me for saying this, but that's what makes him a good manager. He understands what his players need, and he kind of does it for them, whether they need more work or whether they need kind of a shutdown day to keep themselves fresh for bigger games and bigger moments. But yeah, so that's my my thought on Rob Thompson for this episode. But I do think Joan Duran will be just fine. And
Yeah,
until
I think so too.
otherwise, that's my thought.
Yeah, same question to you, Austin. How effective is he going to be come playoff time? Going to admit.
I think he's going to be extremely effective. Being the anchor of your bullpen, he's the guy that you're going to want to see when the game really comes down to it. Especially, like I mentioned earlier, the tail end of this season, you're going to have a lot of a lot of games against divisional opponents, a lot of games against teams that you could potentially end up seeing in the playoffs, and teams like the Dodgers, the Brewers, all those kinds of opponents that you have to face, and some of those games are going to be very close, and you're potentially going to have a 1-2 run lead, and you want to know that you have someone that you can go to be able to put that game away and put that in the win column for you to help either be it gaining more ground on the Mets in the division, or being on the outside looking in there and working your way through keeping a wild card spot. Either way, whatever it may be, having that kind of player in your bullpen can give you confidence in those late innings and those close games, knowing that if we can get there,
We're
it's
good.
going to be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, I would say how confident I feel about him. I think it's going to be really going to. I think it's one thing that I saw out of Duran, like probably the first time I feel like I have this much anxiousness to see what he has in store come playoff time. It's probably going back to Brad Lidge. I think that's the most important thing, is that like we all know how effective he was back in 2008 when he won that World Series with us, and had a perfect season, like legitimately a perfect 48 for 48 season. Can't ask it better than that. And for me, I think this is the one thing that I really want to see out of Johan Duran in these next few closing outs. I would love to see how come playoff time when that place is jumping and they're like 1 out of like just 3 outs away from going back to the NLCS or probably that National League pennant. So it will be something to be like that. That intro to me, at first I said to myself, it kind of reminded me what Taz of WWE would call it, like what Brock Lesnar would like say, "Here comes the pain." So
Yeah.
same kind of scenario. I have that same kind of feel about it too. Is because like even though he's the Durantula, he's gonna come in and he's gonna be one player to definitely, especially when the time calls for him to close it out. He's gonna close it out in a big way, and hopefully there'll be a lot more games like the Phillies will have come playoff time, and hopefully it'll be something to behold, especially here in the next few months or so.
Yep. His Duran's entrance reminds me a lot of Mariano Rivera's entrance at the end of I believe it was Enter Sandman by
Metallica.
Metallica or whoever whoever whatever song it was. It went lights out, good night, game over.
Yeah.
That's basically what Joan Duran has been for his entire career. So, and that's how other teams feel when they face Joan Duran.
Mm-hmm.
Their sphincters get tight. They start sweating. Maybe stuff comes out. I don't know. But yeah, like it's just not a comfortable at bat.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it's a perfect way to say "Enter the Sandman" by Metallica. Like Mariano Rivera is a good piece of that. Trevor Hoffman with "Hell's Bells" or Craig Kimbrell, "Welcome to the Jungle." There's another one. I think I keep on bringing this up. I don't know why I do, but I think when Billy Wagner came up, he had Enter the Sandman when he started to close out Phillies games like in the early 2000s. I think it was Billy Wagner that had Enter the Sandman too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh wow!
No, you know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of Jonathan Papelbon shipping up to Boston, the Dropkick Murphy song.
Yeah, I know. I don't remember who the closer was. It might have even been Heath Bell, but I'm pretty sure he did Hell's Bells by AC/DC.
Yeah.
Like there have been a lot of really good like songs that closers have chosen to have play when they come out to do their warm-ups and stuff. Like I feel like that's part of the I guess you could call it the fan service of the game, like a way to be able to like signal to the fans like here, it's time for that guy, guys. Like here we go.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, especially just like the whole, the lights going out in the stadium.
Yeah.
And then the music playing. Yeah. The bell going off with the spiders walking around on the scoreboards. Like,
and the lights flicker. Oh man. Like that, like the laser. The only thing is missing is like a laser lighted fireworks show out of it.
Yeah.
Too.
Right.
So that's the thing that makes that's what makes the sport more fun, especially because coming up in the next couple weeks or so, the Eagles will be raising that second banner, and I would be sure it will be just as good as Johan Duran's intro coming into the game in the ninth inning too. It'll be it'll be such badass. It was such a badass. I mean, it's so cool. When I first saw it, I said, "Okay, let me see what you got." And then I hear the bells talk. Thinking, "Oh, this is interesting. I like it." It's like, and then I hear that Undertaker bells. I'm thinking, like, "Oh, wait, is it coming out to the Undertaker? Is there smoke coming out?" So, yeah, man, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, for sure. And the other thing I say about Duran too, I'm just so glad he's okay. I'm just so glad he's. I mean, if he had that suffer through that injury and then we had to deal with Zach Weir, we're gonna be like FML, we're gonna be just like that will be the ultimate like I cut my nose off to spite my face, like fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice,
Right.
shame on you, Oh man, yeah. So yeah, that'll be something to definitely keep a close eye on, especially in those later months. Hopefully, postseason, some postseason baseball to come along the way too. I got one more. I got one question to ask you about the Andrew Painter thing. I guess I asked you guys this week. I think I asked you this last week, Austin. About.
Yeah.
I think it was. I mean, do you think he has a shot coming up to the league now? Ever since Zach Wheeler's injury, to say the least. Do you think it's going to come up anytime soon, or do you think they'll wait until next year?
Yeah, I still think it's going to be a next year situation. I mean, the numbers this year for him have not been incredible down in the minors from what I've seen. But I mean, give the guy a bit more time to work his stuff out. He probably just wasn't, right mechanically this year.
Mm-hmm.
Let him get a spring training in, get some work with the guys, work in AAA again next year, and then, should the need arise, he'll more than likely end up getting the call, especially with Abel being traded off in the Duran trade.
Right. Yeah, same question to you, Connor. You think Andrew Painter might come up this year, or you think they'll wait until next year to bring him up?
I could see this going either way. I would maybe leaning toward waiting till like a month into next year, just to give Painter some more confidence, and you don't need to rush him up to the big leagues. You don't want to ruin this guy's career. So like let him settle down, and then let him like find himself, and then when he's ready, he'll come up next year. I actually had a question to both of you. With obviously it's probably too early to tell, but do you guys think if this keeps up, Johan Duran has a shot to beat Eric Gagne's save record?
That's a good question. I'm not sure exactly to say the least. I mean, right now he's been really effective, but I think he might be eventually. If that answers your question there, Connor. It could be. I mean, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure on that. What about you, Austin?
I feel like it's a coin flip. If it were like 10 years ago, a guy like Duran definitely would have had a chance. But with how analytics rule the game of baseball now, guys wanting to elevate and celebrate, there's going to be a time where that slider doesn't break right and it stays about belt high, and that ends up costing them one. Like it's going to happen, but it's one of those things, Duran just has to be able to, let it happen when it does and be able to just lock right back in. As much as I would love to see him be able to do that just because of how much of a fireballer he is, again, like I said, it's a coin flip. Like he could from here on out be the most dominant closer in baseball and not let anyone be able to touch him at all. Or he could be one of those guys where the road is very bumpy, but he stays consistent. Either way, I'm going to appreciate the hell out of it, because being able to throw 103, 104 is no small task, especially be sitting around for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then be like, all right, let me go ahead and get myself ready to go, and then just come out and do that like it's nothing. It's insanely impressive.
You know what the craziest thing about it too? When he throws 101 or 103, it doesn't even feel like he's throwing hard. Like it's not like he's like a Aroldis Chapman or a Randy Johnson.
Free and easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Him and what's the kid's name? He was pitching for San Francisco this year. Originally played in St. Louis. Jordan Hicks.
Yeah.
Like those are two guys that when they throw that 100+, it does not look like they're doing it. It looks like they're maybe going to throw like an 85 or like a BP fastball.
Yeah,
and that
exactly.
thing just goes zipping through.
What's scary about Duran is he throws 102, 103 and only has a 3% walk rate.
Yep.
That's incredible.
So that's a scary at bat.
For sure. Definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be it's going to be not a pitcher's worst nightmare, but a batter's worst nightmare. I have to deal with him in the postseason too, hopefully.
And Duran does his best to make every pitch competitive too.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's what makes him even scarier. Like there's not many pitches that are off the plate by much.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, before we go here, before we wrap up here, we'll do our upcoming series preview. Like I mentioned tonight, Cal Raleigh and the Seattle Mariners coming to town to take on the Fighting Phillies. We have a good matchups for this upcoming pitcher duels for the next couple games, other than maybe tonight because Ranger goes tonight. So for this opening matchup here tonight on this Monday night, Ranger Suarez will be on the mound tonight against Logan Gilbert. Ranger on the other is 8-6 this year. It has a 3.28 ERA, and he'll be opposed by, like I said, Logan Gilbert, who was 3-4 this year and has a 3.31 earned run average. Tomorrow, we got Christopher Sanchez back on the mound tomorrow, looking to try to get his 12th win on the season. He is also 11-4 this year and has a 2.45 ERA. There's going to be a TBD, also known as to be determined for the Mariners tomorrow. I would guess it's going to be an opener or probably or something like that. They don't got somebody in that bullpen tomorrow. They probably got an opener going tomorrow for Seattle, and that game would be. I'm surprised if they got an opener taking on Christopher Sanchez. It's like, it's kind of weird to say.
They're just punting this game or punting the second game, basically.
Yeah, it's kind of like Doc Rivers would call it a scheduled loss, I guess. I don't know. Probably in the same kind of scenario. And to close out the series here on Wednesday afternoon, it will be Jesus Luzardo looking to try to get his 12th win on the season. And he's 11-6 this year with a 4.21 ERA. And he'll be opposed by Luis Castillo, who is 8-6 this year and has a 3.48 ERA. So it will be Suarez tonight for the Phillies, Sanchez tomorrow, and Luzardo on Wednesday. So, simply put, guys, what do you think the Phillies would do in this upcoming series with Seattle and Washington to close out the week? Austin, I'll start with you first.
I'd like to think it's going to be a 4-2 week for Philadelphia, especially facing off against Washington, a team that you literally just saw 7 days before that. Seattle's going to be a very interesting series, I think, because their game 2 starter right now is slated as Bryce Miller, but it's his expected day to come off of the injured list and be able to pitch.
Gotcha.
But it's very possible that they skip him on the rotation just to, give him an extra week to get himself back into good form. But I feel like you can definitely run away with that game. Game 3 is listed as Luis Castillo starting for them, and Castillo has been very effective. So I think you try and steal games 1 and 2, and then just try and grind out what you can against Castillo in game 3, get that off day Thursday, and then come back in fresh to face off against Washington.
Yeah, absolutely. Connor, same question to you. What do you think the Phillies will do this week in this series against Seattle and Washington?
I think they'll go. Obviously, the Seattle series will be a bit more of a grind, but I think both series they'll have at least 2 wins in each.
Hmm.
So 4-2. I'm agreeing with Austin.
Yeah. And for me, I just want to. I mean, it's good to know the Phillies are back and sleeping in their own beds every night now. So I guess it's a good thing that after that long, exhausting road trip, they can sleep in their own beds and also can play a couple games here and there to have a big homestand coming up here in these next couple months, a couple of days or so. For me, I would love to see the Phillies just go back to where they were at the end of that Texas series and finally get their group back. I want to see Schwarber hit some home runs here and there. I want to see like a home run slugfest between Cal Raleigh and Kyle Schwarber. It'll be something like a preview of the home run derby of next year. Happen to be here in Philadelphia, so it'll be something to look forward to seeing. But no, I don't think it's been a while since the Mariners have been here in Philly. I think it's like the third time in the league's history they've been here in Philadelphia, if I'm correct. It's like,
Yeah, it's been a while since they've been in Philly for a game.
yeah.
And
What's
I
that?
think the last time might have been when Carlos Ruiz returned to Philadelphia.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Wearing
wow.
number 52 because
Let's talk.
Ichiro wore number 51.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can go back. I don't think Ichiro ever came to Philly. Like when he was with the Mariners. I mean, I can't remember if he ever came to Philly.
I don't think
Ichiro.
he did. I think that number was retired by the time Chooch was on Seattle, but
Yeah, I mean, I know for sure Ken Griffey never came to Philly either. I mean, I know probably later with the Reds or maybe like when he was with other teams, but when he was with the Mariners, I mean, that would have been exciting to see back in the day. Ken Griffey Jr. and Ichiro Suzuki come to Philadelphia at CBP or at the Vet to take on like a struggling Phillies team, or even see like the Phillies in their prime, seeing the Phillies. See the Phillies, and I mean, because they haven't played. Actually, you know what? It might be the third time in their league's history because like interleague played it starting until like 1997. So
yeah.
this is
And
probably the third time in the league's history. Gonna admit.
imagine Ken Griffey Jr.'s sweet left-handed stroke in Citizens Bank Park. Just,
Oh
ooh, that would
man.
have he would have put on a show.
Same
Oh
thing with King
man.
Felix too. King Felix Hernandez too with all those strikeouts too.
That
Oh
would
man.
have that would have given many a Phillies fan so many nightmares. Just Ken Griffey Jr. Going to right field, upper deck, just see ya.
Yeah, like it's kind of like the Barry Bonds streak. But I'll tell you right now. I mean, yeah, the thing with Ken Griffey, it was just he was one of the best players to ever. I mean, I was a big fan of Ken Griffey when I was a kid, and also loved Tony Gwynn and all the other players in particular too. So it was cool to see actually one time before we wrap up here. I know we're running out of time here. See Tony Gwynn's son play for the Phillies for a little bit too around that time in 2014 too. So it's kind of cool to see like old not old players, but like players that we
Second
love in
generation.
second generation players. Exactly right. Yep.
Yep.
So it's pretty cool to see that too. All right, that's gonna wrap up here for tonight here on this very important program. I want to say thank you to Connor and also to Austin joining us here tonight. Gentlemen, where can people see you next on these programs or wherever here on Hardcore Sports Network?
Oh,
Austin, sorry, man.
yeah, you're good. I will be right back here next week on This Week in Phillies Baseball. In the meantime, my Twitch channel right down here, twitch.tv/Hambo26. I'm actually going to be wrapping up Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered tonight. Then probably try and finish up Final Fantasy 7 because I've been sort of leaving that on the back burner for a little bit. And then this Saturday on the Hardcore Play and Rewind YouTube channel, Art and I are going to be talking about the online ghost hunting game Phasmophobia.
Interesting.
So make sure you tune in for that. That's a really fun game. I really enjoy that one. I haven't played it in a while, and I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. Same thing question to you, Connor. Where can people see you next, brother?
And for me, I will have a video on the newest Eagles trade. So I'm excited about that. I'll also have a Phillies Mariners like preview games 2 and 3 tomorrow as well, and then I'll be right back here next Monday for This Week in Phillies Baseball with Austin and potentially James scores. I'm not sure who's gonna
Yeah,
but
yeah. I think it's I think I'm back in the saddle again next week if I can double check here. No, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'll be back in the saddle with you
Oh
again
no,
next.
yeah, it's you, it's the two of you guys and Joe Marks. I'm on the 1st of September. That's what it was.
Oh, okay. So it's me. So it's the Pass and F crew getting you ready. Just counting the days down right after that for football season. So we got a jam-packed show for these next few months or so. But also remember, coming up later on in our later shows, we have a special announcement coming up in regards to Philadelphia Flyers hockey. So I guess we're gonna probably switch it around a little bit, do a little bit of switcheroo with Phillies baseball and Flyers. But I promise you, it'll be just as fun as this one right here tonight. And also, if you haven't checked us out here on Facebook or Twitter or Twitch or any of your social media platforms, hit that like and subscribe button on Hardcore Sports Network and our friends over at our sister station, Stream Punk Entertainment. All right, that's going to do it here for tonight. For Connor, for Austin, for myself here, this has been This Week in Phillies Baseball. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the rest of the week, everybody. Until then, we'll see you guys soon.